So let's go ahead and just go over the agenda. We are main challenges. We're going to do a live demo. And let's go ahead and just some numbers right here. We are working with more than 7 million users that are happy Odoo users around the world. We work with 175 different countries. We have 60% annual growth, which is a tremendous accomplishment. And we are currently now with 1,600 Odooers and growing. Our ecosystem is comprised of 4 main pillars. We have Odoo. We are responsible for bringing you a world-class product that is enhanced every single year with a brand new version. We also rely on a vibrant and passionate community of over 20,000 community members. They allow us to get feedback and improve our product year after year. But most importantly, we also have an incredible network of Odoo partners around the world. They not only help us develop different applications to enhance the product, but also are the face of the company across their various markets. We work with over 3,500 partners in almost every single continent, and Novobi is one of our gold partners who's here with us today. And then finally, our customers that truly fuel the engine of our incredible community. So now that we're back to where we started, let's talk about the guiding principles that has made Odoo go from a very small open source company to a world enterprise, world-class company. And those are 3 basic principles, and they're easy. Number 1, we want to keep the solution as standard as possible. Why? Because we want to have our users hit the ground running and start using Odoo right away. We want to have software that is feature rich, that they can start using and have the majority of their workflows and processes already out of the box. Number 2, we want to deliver a product as fast as possible. When it comes to configurations, we want to have this to be lightning speed, again, to maximize the software. And finally, we want to keep this implementation affordable. We are under the guiding principle that this ERP should be democratized. We no longer feel that ERP should be something for multinational corporations. In fact, everyone could benefit from an ERP or an end-to-end solution, and therefore keeping an implementation affordable is the key. Now, you may think that we only work with small to medium-sized businesses, but that's absolutely not true. Odoo is flexible enough for a one-person shop to, like I said earlier, a multinational corporation. Like you see here, we have international brands like Volkswagen and Shell, as well as some local brands. Odoo is truly a flexible and world-class product, allowing you to grow and scale as needed. Now that we know a little bit more about who we are as a company, let's take a look at the major challenges that face a lot of businesses today. All right, what we see here is a spaghetti bowl of different applications. Put in the chat if you work with at least 5 to 10 different applications just to manage your business. I know I am very used to that, especially before coming to Odoo. You have an application for your accounting, an application for your CRM. You might have another application for your HR, your marketing suite. The list goes on and on. There are several problems with a disjointed or siloed solution way of working. Number 1, there's no integration here amongst the applications. So we rely on API connectors to pull and push data from one place to another. This can become expensive. When one application is upgraded, we need to go ahead and upgrade that API connector. That takes a lot of money. Also, by not having one source of truth, reporting becomes a challenge. We may not know who has invoiced the most at any given month or how much stock there's still in my warehouse. Having a single source of truth makes reporting that much easier and allowing you to understand much better what's happening across your company. And finally, with multiple systems, you're going to have to train your staff across various platforms. Not only is that time consuming, but it's also pretty inefficient, especially when you have to train a brand new employee. Odoo eliminates the need to have siloed solutions. We offer an all-in-one solution to handle your business needs across your organization. We are comprised of integrated modular applications that connect with each other to allow full traceability across all aspects of your business, from accounting, inventory management, manufacturing, as well as HR, marketing, and sales. Because of Odoo's modularity, you're also able to scale as needed. You can start with one application, and as your company grows, Odoo grows along with you. Now, before I leave, let's go ahead and leave you with one main image here. And if there's one thing to remember about Odoo, it's this right here. Odoo is truly user-centric. Legacy ERPs were created with the CEO and president in mind. Odoo, on the other hand, was created with the user in mind. We want the user to have a good experience. We want them to be efficient. We want them to like the software, especially when it comes to changing. No one wants to work on a system that they can't understand. Odoo makes it intuitive, and that's why it is the center of everything we do. We offer a full feature suite of applications that support all aspects of your business. Each of these applications are fully integrated, allowing for complete traceability and visibility across your organization. It's scalable, allowing you to grow as your needs become more sophisticated. And of course, it's flexible according to the industry or the sector that you're working with. So those are the five aspects of Odoo that I want you to take away with you today. But don't take my word for it, because now I'm going to introduce you to my colleague, Raul, who's going to show you a live end-to-end manufacturing demo so you can see how these applications work in concert. Thank you so much, Raul.
Everyone is seeing my screen. So my name is Raul Martin, and as Yossi mentioned, I work for Odoo and our channel sales team in our San Francisco office, meaning I work with our Odoo partners in North America and USA and Canada, including Novobi. Now, today, I'd like to show a little bit of our manufacturing, especially. I'm going to go through a basic flow through some of the apps, and what we're going to do today is take a sale. If a client wants we're going to act as if a client just called us and they want to purchase a product. We're going to create the quote, send it over to them, and then we're going to go through the manufacturing to build that product and then ship it over to the client. For this example, I'm going to be the owner running a custom furniture shop, and I just spoke with a customer who wants one of our custom desks. Now, this is the Odoo dashboard. For anyone who hasn't seen it before, I want to quickly give you a little description of what's going on here. Now, Odoo is a modular software, meaning that it's app-based. You download and install the apps that you need, and you only pay for what you're using, which means that it's really convenient. If you know exactly what you need, you only need a few processes, or if you need a lot of things, Odoo has a lot of different features that it can run through. For this demo, we're going to be looking through sales, inventory, and manufacturing, as well as a couple details with the quality and timesheets app and how they can add more features to manufacturing. With that being said, I'm going to act as if I'm this administrator and go into the sales app. Before I go into that, though, I would like to mention, I'm viewing this as the administrator with access to all the apps that I've installed. However, access rights can be set for all your employees who have Odoo users. This would limit them into only viewing and accessing the apps that they would need for their role, as well as processes within those apps that they would want to do. As the administrator, I'm going to be able to view and edit everything I need for the purpose of the demo, but I will be switching characters or perspective in terms of who actually would be interacting with the apps or with certain parts of this process. So I'm going to go into the sales app to create a quote for our new client. I want to very quickly go over the user interface here, now in the sales app, just to highlight how it works and also to show how the formatting remains very consistent throughout Odoo. It's really nice and it becomes very intuitive because a lot of things are formatted in the same way. So once you learn one app, you're going to know where to look for things in the next app. We have a progress bar here that's going to show which step we are on in the process that we might do. When creating a quote, it's basically create it, send it to the client, and then once it's confirmed, it becomes a sales order. On the left, we're always going to have our action buttons, the main things we're going to be doing with our quote, which again, in this case, is going to be send and confirm. So I'm going to go ahead and put in our customer information. They've asked us for one of our custom desks, so I'm going to create that. I'm adding the product here on the quote, and since we do have several options, we're going to see our variants. We can choose different materials, and our client said they want steel with the white table. So we're going to go ahead and add this on the quote. Let's see. Might have just canceled that. Here we go. So we want this. We have the price. It's calculated the tax already. I'm going to save this. Now, we could send this by email directly to the client. If we had set up the email outside of a demo database here, we could send it directly to them. There's no need to copy paste any links, go out into your email, or download any files. It can all be done within Odoo without leaving the software. So I'm going to act as if I just sent this out to the client. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like from the client's point of view, what they're receiving. They would open the link that they've received on their email. That's going to open up this quote. Something that's really nice here is they're seeing the information they have, but they also have a little comment section here where they could send a message right back to us. We'll be notified for anything that they might want to add, if they wanted to adjust something on the quote, ask for something else, or add some more. However, we're going to assume it all looks good. So we'll just put a message here, and that would notify us to let us know they've reviewed it and they're ready to move forward. So they're going to accept and sign this quote. We also have an e-sign that can be added to our sales and invoicing. This allows for confirmation through an electronic signature, as well as the electronic invoicing straight through the app. Them signing the signature will confirm the sales order. This is going to automatically trigger some things in the other apps. This is an example of how Odoo communicates through all the apps and why it's useful to manage them through Odoo. They communicate with each other. There's no need to manually be taking things from one place to another. Odoo already knows what the next steps are going to be. Now we can see some things have changed. We've gone into a sales order because it has been confirmed. And I'd like to show really quickly down here the chatter. This is at the bottom of almost every app that you might use in Odoo. It's very useful because it has a history of all the changes that have happened with whatever you're looking at. In this case, it's a sales order. We can see that it was created, sent. We have the comment from the customer. It shows me because I did it from my account. We also have timestamps for everything, which is really convenient, and messages that we would receive in our email to let us know that it's been confirmed. And we can also see an automatically generated signed sales order for this quote. It was created instantly and sent here for us for anything we might need. We also have a delivery notice here. This is because Odoo knows that we now have to ship this product over to the client. If we click on that smart button, it's going to take us directly to the inventory app from sales. We don't even have to go to the dashboard and open up inventory. This is going to show our delivery order. It's for the desk that we wanted. It was just created. However, on the progress bar, it shows that it is waiting. That's because the desk is not ready to be shipped. It needs to be built. So we're going to go into manufacturing to work on that. But before that, I'd like to quickly go into the product section of our inventory just to show you our 360 view of a product. Whenever you create a product within Odoo, you're going to be faced with a page like this. And there's a lot of details and a lot of things that you can modify based on how it's going to interact with other apps in Odoo, or just details that you're going to need for that specific product. In this case, this is the desk that we sell. We don't purchase it from a supplier. We're building it in-house. That's something we need to mark. We can show the variants. We have different types of legs. We have different colors. So it has to know the different options that we're going to have, as well as interactions with sales and inventory. Here we're marking that it is a manufactured good that we make in-house. And up here we can see a lot of details related to inventory management, setting reordering rules. We can set a minimum and maximum that we want to have in stock. 0 here because, again, This desk is made to order. And we also have our bill of materials. I'd like to open this up really quickly just to show you visually how Odoo creates all this based on the information we put in. I created components for the tabletop, legs, screws, and bolts. It knows how many we need, and it also will include the cost of operation for the building of the desk. Everything is going to be automatically filled in as we're working through this, which is really organized and really convenient. Now we're ready to build our desk. If we go into the manufacturing app, we're going to see that we have two different stations. We're building the table and the painting station. So we can see here the painting station is waiting for another work order because we need to build the desk first. So let's get into it. Building the desk, we are now in the build mode. Here this is where your worker would be building. Our timesheets is logging and recording how much time this is taking. This can be paused if they need to take a break for any way, and it's going to record how much time they were actively working on the table. Here you would attach any instructions on what to do. And also with the quality app, I mentioned that I had installed this as well. We can block or scrap this manufacturing process if for any reason there was a mistake or something has to be redone. We can add a component if it wasn't there initially and we want to add it last minute. Or we can send out a quality alert if there's anything that we should notify our quality team or maintenance team about anything regarding the manufacturing. So that's really convenient so that our workers on the fly, as they're working on something, they can just create and send this report. I'd also like to mention at this point that Odoo is fully available on mobile. This means is you can have your factory workers, warehouse managers, or anyone on their iPad using Odoo, and it looks just like this on the laptop. It even works on your phone, and again, it looks and feels just like the version you're seeing here on the browser. And they can connect from the cloud. So we're going to assume, though, that here everything went fine. They've built their table, which means we're ready now for the next step. We're going to paint the table. So we're going to do the same thing. We go into the work order. Here we have our diagram or whatever information they might need. It's going to time them for this. And then we're going to mark this as done and close the manufacturing order. Now, all the apps are communicating with each other. As we saw, confirming the sales order automatically generated the delivery order. And then it also automatically triggered a manufacturing order. Now that this is done, let's go back to the delivery and see what's changed here. Now our delivery order has one ready to process. If we open this up, product is ready. They're no longer waiting. We have our desk. This was just updated compared to 5 minutes ago when the delivery order was created. This would now go to our warehouse manager. This is where he would validate and confirm that it's ready to go to the client. This is the part where we'd be picking, packing, and shipping the product. And we could see Odoo also automatically generates a picking slip. I'm going to open this up really quick just to show you. It's really nice how it automatically generates this as soon as you have the order. And it has a barcode because Odoo does have integration with barcode scanners. And then that would automatically confirm that it's ready to go out. It's really useful both for items coming in, items coming out, for all kinds of inventory management purposes. So let's say the warehouse manager gave the okay, he's validated this, and the item is going to go out and ship. Customer is successfully going to receive their product, which means the last thing we need to do is go back to the sales order to create an invoice to confirm that sale. So let's go back into the sales order. We know that everything has gone smoothly. We're going to create the invoice. Just like that, that is also going to trigger in the accounting section. Any of our accountants would be notified about this. If this has been created, they can confirm and register this payment. Once we have done that, our invoice is going to show up as paid, and we have successfully concluded this whole process from getting off the phone with our customer who's requesting one of our products to creating that quote, confirming, building the product, shipping it out, and registering the invoice. That does conclude what I wanted to show today for this overview of Odoo out of the box with manufacturing. I would now like to pass it on to Rafael. He's a business analyst with Novobi, one of our top gold level partners that I have the pleasure of working with. He's going to go into explaining a little bit more about Novobi and how they work, as well as some extra features they've developed for more specialized. To you, Raf.
Hi, thank you for the introduction, Rahul. And again, thank you to Yosiat and Odoo for having me today. As mentioned previously, my name is Raphael and I'm part of Novobi. So who are we? Essentially? We are Odoo Gold Partner. We became partner in 2014 and a few years later became Odoo Gold Partner. Prior to that, we were working in the SAP and Oracle ecosystem, but at this point, we're focusing 100% in Odoo. Over the past few years, we focused on building a strong team. We currently have 50 team members across Austin, Texas, San Francisco, California, Salt Lake City, Utah, as well as Seattle, Washington for the US, and Vietnam. Out of those 50 team members, 13 of them are Odoo certified experts. That's roughly 4 times the requirement to be an Odoo Gold Partner. Additionally, out of those 13 Odoo experts, 2 of them are CPAs, because we understand the value of integrated finance within your system. Our team has a great level of experience. In fact, our project leads have an average of 6 years plus experience working on Odoo, which tend to be unique. We've been averaging 98% retention rate over the past few years, and during the last 2 years, we did 100%. At this point, we have completed 100 plus projects, and 78% of those went live within 3 to 6 months. So the question is, how did we do it? Next slide, please. Thank you. So building on the Odoo principle that Yosiat has discussed previously, Novobi has created its own methodology made of 3 main phases. First one, automate, the second, optimize, and the third, transform. During the first phase, the automate, the goal is really to get you up and running on Odoo as fast as possible. So we'll be focusing on your digital operation MVP, minimum viable product. During the second stage, the optimize, at this point, your operation will already be running on Odoo. So your system is ready to accommodate, we can start optimizing your system using advanced automation, cloud data analytics, among other things. For example, we could optimize your material planning with advanced demand forecasting, or even use IoT to automate your manufacturing workflow. During the transform phase, really help you with your business expansion. At this point, your system is ready to produce more product, to expand into different sales channels. Perhaps maybe start selling on Amazon, eBay, or other channels. You could also expand to different countries. In fact, Odoo is really good for that. In the big picture, what we're trying to do in the transform stage is we want to give you a competitive advantage by giving you advanced features. Next slide, please. Yes. So here you can see a list of Novobi pre-built solution. So we spent thousands of hours developing those features. So essentially, our client don't have to. As you can see here, we tend to deploy those different pre-built solutions in different phases of your project. During the automate phase, we usually use the enhancement of the Odoo accounting or Odoo inventory app. Again, those are customization that we have made on top of the Odoo application. During the automate phase, we also use the Novobi payroll application. During the optimize phase, your system is ready to accommodate for demand forecasting, smart inventory, or omni business intelligence. Lastly, during the transform phase, your system can start using omni-channel solution as well as our ETO solution. So now let's take a look at our typical ETO workflow. So as you can see here, this is an example of the typical ETO workflow we are implementing for our clients. On the left side, you can see many different apps. Some of those are the Odoo native apps, such as sales, manufacturing, inventory, purchase, and accounting. On those, we're just adding features on top of those apps. Additionally, you can see the engineering and payroll app, which are essentially built from scratch by Novobi. So this workflow all those apps are within your Odoo system, and this workflow combines all those apps together. Essentially, the goal is to streamline your processes from sales to accounting with everything in between. So right now, I propose to look at some of those features in action. As you can see here, I have a basic setup, basic Odoo setup with a few apps: sales, purchase, inventory, manufacturing, accounting, and one of the Novobi app, the engineering. So first, let's take a look at our product. Let's take a look at our product. And more importantly, let's take a look at our bill of material. So I'm going to a product that I have already configured. This is the Novobi table. Thank you again, Raul, for explaining how the model works in Odoo. I'm going to skip through that and directly look at a feature that interests us in this ETO topic, which is the bill of material. As you can see here for this table, we have many different bill of material. They have different reference, and some of those are connected to some manufacturing order. Here, we're introducing the concept of primary bill of material. What that means is that every time we have a new manufacturing order, we're going to duplicate this primary BOM and make it unique to that manufacturing order for traceability purposes, among other things. So if I look in, let's say this one, I can see here that there's a manufacturing order connected to that bill of material, and I could click on it to see the status of it, for example, or many other information. This one is reporting, we can see the component and so on. On the other hand, if I go back to my list of bill of material, the primary is not associated to any manufacturing order. So right now, let's take an example through a workflow. I'm going to start from a sales order. Here I have a sales order that was already created. It is already in the stage of sales order. So as Raul mentioned, we have the delivery order. I can click on it, and it is waiting for another operation. Essentially, we need to manufacture the table. And it has also triggered a manufacturing order to build that product. Quick note here, we have added the option to pick a bill of material prior to the sales order, as you can see here. So that is ready for whenever you want to engage with your engineering team prior to creating that sales order, maybe at the quotation stage, negotiation with your client, you could create that new bill of material and put that in the quotation before triggering the sales order. In this case, there was no bill of material set up, so it's just going to duplicate that primary BOM. Right now, let's take a look at this manufacturing order from a manufacturing standpoint. So I'm going out of that sales app and I'm going to my manufacturing app. Operation and manufacturing order right here. So this manufacturing order is a multi-level manufacturing order, which means that some of those components had to be manufactured. In this case, it was the table frame and the tabletop. I can click on those, or I can see those here, the child manufacturing order. You can see those, and they're already done. We've already went through it. Another note here is that this is a two-step manufacturing process. What that means is that before we can start working on that manufacturing order, we have a picking operation. So I'm going to change my hat and look at this process from a warehouse operation standpoint. And I'm going to open my inventory app. Here we can see that I have a box for picking component. So I could click on it. And this is the list of all the components that I need for this specific manufacturing order. As Raul mentioned previously, we have the chatter available in every different model in the system for traceability purposes. Essentially, when I validate, anyone can get back to it at later time and see exactly what day, what time, and who did that transfer of product. So right now, if I go back to my manufacturing order, we have brought all the components that we need to start working on it. Go back to operation, manufacturing order. We can see that material availability is now ready. So I can start perhaps work on one of the work order. I am not going to cover the black screen with the guideline because Raul already did it. But by clicking on the right side, you could access the same black screen that Raul showed us a few minutes ago. So 15 seconds, we beat some record. Let's say that the first operation is done. At this point, for any reason, maybe a client request, we need to create a change of design or a change in the bill of material. Remember that this manufacturing order is in progress. Through the Novobi app, through the Novobi engineering app, we'll be able to create an ECO, engineering change order, on a manufacturing order that is in progress. So let's go ahead and create a new one. Change of component. Again, today, because of timing, we will keep it pretty straightforward. So we'll define that I am working on the Novobi table. As you remember, each manufacturing order or each client order has its own bill of material. So here I will be picking the bill of material that I want to work on. Again, that is a form on Odoo, so I have access to a place for notes. One more time, I have my chatter. This place, in this specific model, this is a place where we use the chatter extensively to communicate with the rest of our team, or even set up some reminder. I will save it and I will start the revision, even bringing this ECO in progress status. As you can see on the top right, we can add some documentation and we have some BOM revision. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to create a bill of material revision. As you can see at this point, this is in development. Here we could import a new bill of material in Excel CSV file that came out of your CAD software, or perhaps we can work through direct integration as well. For today, I am just going to make a simple change. I will add some level of leveling month, for example. As I do that, a really basic change, adding 2 units of leveling month, we can see right now in the ECO our BOM changes. This is one of the features also added from Novobi. On the left, you have the previous bill of material. And on the right, you have a new version of this bill of material, number 2, right here. Additionally, we can see where some changes were made. So assuming that we went through all the approval processes and so on, I'm going to bring this to the stage of validated, and I will apply the changes. So right now, if I look at my ongoing in progress manufacturing order, we can see that the number of leveling month that we need has been updated to 6. Remembering that we're doing a 2-step manufacturing process, let's take a look from a warehouse operation perspective. The system automatically creates a new operation of picking the component. We could, at this point, again, print some picking operation and so on. But I'm just going to check the availability and validate. So right now, we can see the source location from stock and the destination location to pre-production. Let's change a hat, look at it from a manufacturing standpoint, and finish a manufacturing order, assuming that there are no other client requests. We have one more work order, so I will start it, work on it, record some time, maybe use the black screen for some guideline, set by manager level, designer, and I will mark this as done. At this point, we went through all the operation, we consumed the component, I can mark this as done. Here, our manufacturing order was completed while going through an ECO in the middle of it. One big addition that Novobi did is in the cost analysis. As Raul showed previously, the out-of-the-box Odoo will give you the cost analysis for the cost structure based on the component and the cost of the operation. What Novobi has added is the labor cost as well as the overhead cost. Labor cost can depend on the labor rate defined on each one of your employee and can also be used later in our Novobi payroll application. So right now that we finished that process, we can go ahead, look at the inventory operation, and go through the delivery order, such as Raul demonstrated to us earlier. Again, there's plenty of feature I'd like to show you, but another feature we want to discuss today that Novobi has worked on is the replenishment planning. In this feature, we can pick the product we want to look at. In this case, of course, the Novobi table. As you can see here, we have the different components that this product is made of. And since it's a multi-level BOM, we can see the components that the child manufacturing order are made of. Currently, we have no requested quantity from open manufacturing order, but we can input manually some requested quantity, perhaps 10 units. As we can see here on the right side, that for some of the product, depending how you define it in the system, you could actually decide to purchase some of those. So let's say that I will manufacture all those finished products, but maybe I would like to purchase 50% of the table frame instead, and maybe 60% of the tabletop. From here, I could click on replenish, and the system will automatically create purchase order and manufacturing order according to that. Lastly, on top of that feature, on top of the requested quantity, Novobi could deploy our smart inventory or demand forecasting functionality so that you don't have to input that number manually, but it can be forecasted based on our smart inventory engine. And as of today, I think we will finish it here. There are plenty of other features I'd like to show you, but for time constraints, we will stop here. Thank you.
Raphael, that was very, very interesting. So we're going to continue on with the presentation. We saw incredible features both on the Odoo side and the enhancement that Novobi has created. However, we have a special guest who's here today, and that is going to be Mr. Andy Wilcox, president of EIS. Andy, welcome again to the Roadshow with Odoo and Novobi. How are you doing today?
Fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. Great for you to be here, especially knowing how busy you are. Let's just get right to it. Can you tell us a little bit more about EIS and what do you focus on?
Sure. So EIS, we build customized industrial machinery, and we do this for 3 different industries, and we have 3 different company names that we use for these different industries. This is a result of buying several companies over the years, and so these machines, each industry, they tend to be quite large and complex. We could have over 1,000 parts in a bill of material, and each machine is typically different. We don't really build the same machine twice, even if it's a similar machine. They're all engineered to order. They're all based on customer product, but customer needs to produce. They're designed around our customers' needs. So we have a challenge as well, though, because it's not only custom equipment. We also do production of some spare parts, maybe some common components. So, we do have a production element too, where we're making the same parts over and over again for stock, while the actual machine projects tend to be very custom and one time. So it's quite a challenging environment because we do have both modes of both production and project-based.
Well, let's talk about that, because it sounds like you have really sophisticated manufacturing needs, and in terms of your production, can you tell us a little bit about the challenges that you were experiencing as a result of these pretty sophisticated manufacturing requirements?
Sure. So we've had a legacy ERP system for the past 20 years. And at the time we implemented it around just in the late 90s. It did meet our needs. It was basically had the capability to do both the production and the project focus. But over the years, we found it's become quite difficult to use. There's not been any investment in continuing to update and develop the platform. Support was becoming difficult to find and very expensive. And there was no cloud option, which for us was also important because we are multi-site. And we also wanted to have a single platform. Instead, we had separate payroll apps and various other software that we had to use in conjunction with it, and really wanted to simplify and put everything onto one platform.
Wow. So obviously simplifying your life is significantly important when it comes to efficiency. When you were going through your discovery and moving away from the legacy system you were working with, how did you find Novobi and Odoo?
Actually, a friend recommended Odoo. A friend that had used Odoo in several startup businesses recommended that I look at it. And so I did, and I guess looked at 4 to 5 Odoo developers, and just kind of went through the process of getting proposals from several developers, and ended up choosing Novobi because they took quite a long time and went into a lot of detail in terms of our the business needs, what our goals were, and put together quite a detailed and comprehensive proposal. So I felt that they really took the time to understand what we needed, and went with them.
Fantastic. Now, walk us a little bit. So you found Novobi. The discovery process took a while. They really took time to understand your needs. Can you tell us a little bit more about their implementation strategy and what they actually delivered?
Sure. So, I guess it was probably a fairly typical implementation where, we used a lot of the standard apps. We used manufacturing, we used inventory, purchasing. We did implement the barcode system for inventory. Mm-hmm. We used the sales application. We used Novobi's payroll, and we also used accounting, as well as some of the HR features like the paid time off and so forth. In addition, they did develop a custom time clock screen for us. We want all of our employees on the production floor to clock off on certain manufacturing orders because, we track the time for each manufacturing order so that we can use that when we quote in the future. Not only for keeping track of how we're doing on each project, but we do use that data a lot to help us quote future machines. So they developed a custom screen that we put on Chromebooks throughout the production floor for our operators. They could visually, log into whatever work center they're in. They could search and find the correct manufacturing order and clock off on that and see what they were doing on a screen without, we didn't want to have a separate station for each employee. So we shared, some group stations throughout the floor.
Wow. So, it sounds like they did a lot. And I'm sure that's not the end of it. What have been some short-term results that you have witnessed, whether it's efficiency or growth, due to moving over to Odoo and working with Novobi?
Well, yeah, it was not the end. It was really just the beginning.
Okay.
We honestly we went live, and even after going live, we found some areas that we needed to improve. I'll give you a quick example. One was, we kind of struggled with our inventory because we needed to keep track of not just inventory in our main, inventory crib, but when we issue that to a manufacturing order, it goes out on the production floor, and sometimes a machine build can take 3, 4, 5, 6 months. So it becomes difficult to track where the inventory is. Is it in the crib? Is it on the machine? Is it on a job shelf somewhere? So we discovered that in order to keep our inventory accurate, we really needed some additional functionality built in. Mm-hmm. So Odoo or Novobi, I'm sorry, they understood this problem, and they actually utilized the lot number functionality in Odoo and created a way for us to actually pick inventory, take it out of our inventory crib, and then reserve it in a place for each manufacturing order. So now it's become much easier to count our inventory because we can differentiate what's actually on the floor or on a machine versus what's actually in our stock room. And so it's really helped us to keep track of inventory in a much better way.
Wow, that's incredible. And I know you guys are continuing to grow. What's next for EIS?
This is really kind of the first phase in a 2-phase plan for Odoo. The first phase was obviously just to get up and running and kind of maintain business as usual, so to speak, and make some improvement, but really just to get our feet wet. I guess for us, the biggest benefit will come in the next phase, which is where we integrate our CAD system, our design software, into Odoo. So we have models of these machines that will have hundreds or thousands of parts in them. Some are purchased, some are manufactured, and our goal is to take that CAD data directly and import it into Odoo to create our bill of material, but also to create routings to estimate time at each work center just based on material, size, geometric features, and so forth. So that it greatly decreases the amount of time we spend entering orders into Odoo, and it also increases the detail in Odoo so that we can track individual parts for the machine. We can know who built them, when they were made, and so forth. So that's really our goal going forward, which we know is going to take a while. It's a big undertaking, but that is where we're headed.
Awesome. Well, I'm gonna ask you just one last question. I think this is gonna be for the benefit of our audience, and you as leadership, as the president of EIS, moving to software can present a challenge, right? What is a good takeaway, or what would you say is a best practice for those that are considering migrating data, moving to another system like Odoo? What would you say the good best practices for change management and having your team on board?
Well, I think the key is at the very beginning to really spend some time defining exactly what you need and what you want. It's easy to look at demos or short examples of different apps in the software, and it's easy to make a software look good if you have a pre-planned demo. But if you come up with very specific ways in which you need the software to work, specific challenges for your business model, that's where you can really get some understanding of the software. But also, it will help your team members get on board if they feel like the software, you've gone into this depth with the software that it can handle not just what you do now, but really what you would like to do in the future. That's going to pay off a lot in the future. So spend the time at the beginning, really get into the nitty-gritty before you really launch, and especially before you go live, and that will give you and your team more confidence.
Wow, that's pearls of wisdom. Thank you so much for being with us today, Andy. I wish you a lot of success in your continued journey with Odoo. Again, thanks again for being on this roadshow with Odoo and Novobi, and I'm sure we'll be seeing great things in the near future. All right. Well, we have come to the end of our roadshow. Please, if you have any questions, continue to ask them here in the chat. Do not forget to follow us on social media with Facebook, Twitter, and our other social media accounts. Also, if you would like to learn more about our sponsoring partner, Novobi, check in the description below. Their website is right there. So again, don't forget to like and share this webinar. It's going to be here for your future reference. As always, stay safe. Thank you for joining us today. And remember, Odoo it all.